Finding the right kind of material to use with your Glowforge can be kind of hard, and honestly I love the proof grade material that Glowforge provides, but it is a little on the pricier side. And so if you're making things that you're trying to sell for your business, you're going to want to try to find material that will work in your Glowforge and keep the cost as low as possible so that you can make a bigger profit. And if you don't own a Glowforge yet, I do have a discount link down in the description below that can get you up to $500 off of a Glowforge. Hey guys, I'm Ashley, and today I am going to show you how to make your own proof grade materials to use on the Glowforge here on Chip Builds. So let's jump into it. So right here I have a 11-inch by 19-inch piece of plywood that I got from a local lumber store just up the street from me. And honestly, that's the route that you are going to really want to go for the kind of best cost for the material for your Glowforge. There are a ton of really great wood suppliers and acrylic suppliers that operate online, and you just have to pay for shipping, but it already comes in Glowforge size materials, and some of it masked as well. And I will definitely put some links to those places down in the description below. But I personally think the best route to go is to find a local lumber supplier and go from there. Right now, wood is incredibly expensive, so if you're doing a lot of woodworking type projects or projects that just involve wood, like I said, you're going to want to get the best price. I'm able to get a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet of 1/8-inch plywood for $16 from this place. I'm also able to get a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet of MDF 1/8-inch stock from the same supplier for $14 a sheet. Now the downside with getting these big sheets of material is that you are going to have to break down the pieces to the Glowforge size yourself. And you can do that in a number of different ways. You can use a circular saw to cut it down, a jigsaw to cut it down, or even a table saw. I personally use a circular saw with an edge guide attached to it. I just find that the easiest and quickest way to break down those massive sheets of material. But if I'm buying like a sheet of material from like Home Depot, what I'll have them do is cut it in half vertically and horizontally, and then I'll just rip those boards down to size on my table saw. So this jig is really easy to use. There is a ruler embossed onto the thing itself, and all you have to do is unclasp it, move the indicator to the measurement you want, and then you're good to go. Using the circular saw and the jig is a little bit safer to cut down the massive sheets of material than for a table saw because I have a smaller table saw. So making your own proof grade material at home is really easy. We've cut down all of our stock material now, and so for the plywood that I have that has this kind of oak veneer on top of it, for this, I'm actually going to spray a clear coat on top of it because when you buy proof grade material from Glowforge, it has a protective finish on it underneath the masking material. Now you can use some kind of spray lacquer. I have this Rust-Oleum clear matte spray, and then I have this polyacrylic spray. So for this part of the process, I definitely prefer matte finishes over glossy. I personally just don't really like the way that glossy looks, but you can pick whatever you want to since this is your own DIY proof grade material that you're going to make. So what we're going to do is we're just going to spread one even coating on each side of our material and then let it dry completely before we put on our masking tape. Now you only need to put a wood finish on the kinds of materials that you're using that have, some kind of grain on it, like plywood or veneers or whatever. But for like the MDF proof grade kind of thing that I do myself, you don't need to put any kind of finish on it. You just need to put masking tape on it. As well for like different acrylics and leathers and stuff like that, you don't need to put any kind of sealant on it. You would just put the masking tape directly onto the material. We need to make sure we shake up our can really well. Now alternatively too, you don't have to use the spray finishes. You could just use a brush and put a finish on that way too. I'm just going with what I got. And we're just doing one nice even coating that overlaps a little bit. Adding finish to wood is seriously my favorite part of any project because it just makes the wood really pop and look beautiful. So we're gonna let this coat dry completely, and then we will flip it over and do the other side, and then we can go on to the next step. Okay, so for this process, we're gonna use this 12-inch roll of masking tape that I have. This is made by the company Expressions Vinyl. This is a 12-inch by 100-foot roll, so this is gonna last for quite a while. I will put a link down in the description below where I buy this from. I like this masking tape a lot, and it works really well, and all you gotta do is peel back some of it, and then we can now apply it to our wood. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna unravel quite a bit of it, and then I'm gonna lay it down. Now the material that I cut for the Glowforge is 11 inches by 19 inches. So this is gonna overlap the material just a little bit, but that's what we want. So then I'm just gonna use my X-Acto knife here and just kind of trim it up. So as you can see, we have some air bubbles in it, and I'm going to take this squeegee and I am going to just really burnish this down in all different directions and really make sure that it's stuck on here well and that there's no air bubbles. One of the issues that people have with masking is if they don't burnish it down right, or they just get like a weird kind of brand, is it will start to peel up and then catch fire and cause your laser to catch on fire, and that's just not something that you want to have happen in your life or in your, you know, laser room, craft room. And so we're just going to burnish this down in a bunch of different directions. So we're going to go up and down, and then we're going to go side to side, and then what I do is I go diagonal too. I also use a squeegee that has a felt side and a hard side. If I need to protect something, I have the felt surface, and if not, I can just use the hard surface. All right, so that's pretty good to me. So I'm gonna flip this over and trim the excess off, and then we can do the next side. You don't wanna have any of this masking tape overhanging because it is just another fire hazard for the laser. So then what I like to do too is I'll just, after I've cut it, I'll just come around and do all the lines that we just cut just to make sure nothing's gonna pop up. So now that we have that side done, we just flip it over, and then now we do this next side, and it's literally just the same process. Now you don't have to mask both sides if like you're gonna glue a piece onto another piece. So it really just kind of depends on your project and the kind of materials that you're using. Now I typically only mask the front side when I make my own kind of proof grade materials, just because I typically don't really need the back of it to look a certain way. So if there's flashback on the back of the piece, you know, it's not the end of the world. And now we have our DIY proof grade material. We have our protective finish on our wood, and we have masked the front and the back. And then now this is ready to go into the Glowforge. I am using these 3D printed hold down pins to just hold the material down in place. I 3D print them just because they last a lot longer than if you cut them out of wood or acrylic. And I do have these available in my shop if you're interested in getting a set of your own. So we have our little keychain cut out on this DIY proof grade material that we made, and so let's remove the masking and see how it did. So I love these little scrapers that I got off of Amazon. They just make really quick work of getting off masking tape, and if you don't like this, you can also use like Gorilla duct tape or something. But alright, here is our keychain on our proof grade DIY version of the proof grade material. As you can see, there's a little bit of a sheen there, and that is from the matte clear coat that we added. And then we can also take it off the back here, and then we can see that the back also looks pretty good too. And then there's the back, and we have that same kind of sheen, and there's no flashback or anything, and so it looks really good. So I highly recommend that you guys try this out for yourselves. The only thing is you are going to have to really test your different settings and stuff, because you aren't actually using the proof grade materials that Glowforge buys. You do need to test the settings. Well guys, I hope this helps some of you learn how to cut down bigger material down to sizes for the Glowforge. It's honestly not a hard process, and I think a lot of it people are just kind of scared to kind of jump in and go for it, but I highly recommend you give it a try. And if you really don't want to, like I said, you can either buy the proof grade material directly from Glowforge, or you can buy pre-cut Glowforge materials from other online sellers. I'll have links down below for everything that I talked about or used in this video, so be sure to check those out. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to comment down below, and I'll do my best to respond to you and get back to you. So thank you so much guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!